Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Peteman Reviews. So you've seen the 5 Combaticons released by Unite Warriors individually reviewed, but we still need to see them combined into Bruticus, which is what we'll do with this review. So obviously all the parts you need to combine into Bruticus are included within the releases. I know that the feet and the hands are add-on guns, but aside from that you can actually use them there, so there isn't any excess kibble. I know that's only a technicality, but it still helps. So we'll start off with the legs, because that'll make it easier to combine. So let's start off with Brawl. So you want to begin with by making this gun into a foot, which is done like so. That's all there is to it. And that sounds like that, and that forms the base for Bruticus. Now, a couple of other things we need to do. So if you can see, you've got here the silver connector, which will connect into Onslaught. So this needs to slide open. It's proven a little bit stiff. In fact, it's proven very stiff. There we go. I guess that's good, because that means we're going to get a secure connection for it. And then finally, we just need to plug the feet in. That's literally all there is to it. There we are. Now, being a Scramble City style combiner, he will combine into a hand. You do have a different sections for that, but predominantly he's a foot. One nice thing with the Unite Warriors release, indeed with the Combiner Wars release, is finally you can have Brawl the right way round with the gun turret on the front. I know in other releases that was a little bit tricky with the way it was actually constructed, and certainly the artwork got it wrong as well, but this one you actually can have it the correct way round with the gun turret on the front there. Okay, Swindle is the other leg. So, same process, we take off the foot there. We're going to take the gun off as well, because we can use this for a weapon for Bruticus as well. It's a little bit more to Swindle than there is to change in than there was to Brawl. You want to flip this over here. This one's a lot less stiff, and that will form the bit there. And as you can see, the actual peg is down here, so we just need to flip this so that's out of the way, like so. I guess this is probably where, if these two are not identical height, we'll want to relook at Brawl. Yeah, I think we'll relook at Brawl there, because having it like that, while it will work, he's too tall, so it's just going to get in the way. Bruticus will be lopsided otherwise, which is not good. So we're just going to flip that around there, flip that around there, and then make sure that this peg here is facing down, which I think it is. Yep, so that's now facing down, so we can now attach that in, just to make sure that otherwise... Oh, help I put it the right way around. There we are. Now they're at identical height, otherwise, without doing that, Bruticus would have been very lopsided, which, you know, would have been amusing, but it's not very good when you're actually trying to do your Transformer. Okay, so the core of Bruticus is Onslaught. So take off the guns first of all. So there's quite a bit more to make Onslaught work, again, as one would expect. So what you have to do, this part here is all the head and chest of Bruticus. So I'm just going to flip up this here. Now, what you want to do, there we are, is move this around like so. These parts here are ultimately which are the parts that these two guys are going to go into. So what we want to do is manoeuvre them round. They can nicely fit in, so that this front part here is the bit that's open and on display, like so. We'll do the top of it first. I might have to move these around again. I can't remember which way around I've got them at the moment, so we'll see. Just move them down at the moment. Arms. Again, this part here is the core. Let's try and make it so it's actually in focus, is where the arms will fit in here. So what we need to do is to get all this other gubbins out of the way. So that is done by careful manoeuvring, so that's now straight there. Obviously you're going to want this side on display. Move that out of the way, same deal here, rotate that round, rotate that down. I'm just going to flop this leg down. It will be a little bit sticky, there we are, just so I can get this done and out of the way here. So go down like so. Now let's get the head round. So rotate this up. This flops down like that. This will then flotate up and this gives you Bruticus's head. This now goes down on the back here, like so. And this is where the rear, you need to put the weapons in if you wish. And this will slot down here like so to give you the... Now the arms are sorted, let's just finish off with the legs. So I want to flip these bits up here. These will now just go up like so. And there we are. That is Onslaught in Bruticus mode. So, simple job now. That just slots in there like so. And same deal like this too. Right. That's our first part done. Obviously at the moment he has no arms. Okay, so let's start with the hand. So we just take the hand out here. Now this is pretty stuck in there, so this is where we get our trusty knife, and we just gently insert it and just move the hand out like so. No Transformer should be without one. And then that rotates around like that to make the rest of the hand. And he's got some built-in Gatling cannons. Okay, so on to and we'll just take out the extra weapon as well, put that to one side. So now we've done that, we want to just flip these bits up here, up, and then we're just going to extend this down, put it out of that. That's so he actually has an elbow, otherwise he wouldn't have an elbow. These need to go up. I'm just going to put them around like that, because that is where the hand will plug in. Alright, we now put the blade back down there. So now we just need to flip this bit up, like so. The only reason I've done that is because it's easier to move this out and around. The head tends to get in the way a bit here, but once you've done that you can then pop this in. You should be able to pop this in here. There we go. See, so that's just hooked back into its regular spots with the head firmly in place there. Pop the side arms back in there. I've actually got his elbow going the wrong way, so that's a bit of a contortionist there. Flip that down, and then the rotor blade just going to pop so they all go nicely up the way there. Hand plugs into the hole here, like so, and then the arm just plugs into here. To get access to it, you just need to not move that out of the way. Just need to move the top of the wing off, like so, because otherwise you can't move the guy in because the wing's in the way. So that now slots on in the final part, which is blast off. So same deal. Take the hand out, take the extra weapon out, weapon to one side. Hand here. Will this one move? That one actually is a bit easier to move out. Hand out. That goes like that, and you've got kind of missiles on the side. Pretty much the same deal as blast off here, in that you want to get this part out and this part will be covered. Okay, so these two flaps will go all the way down. You have to be a little bit careful because they are a little bit delicate. So in order to move them down, you just need to gently slide that bit down first, like that. Then once it's round, you can then do that. Get some out of the way. Okay, so what we now have is the elbow. We need to do the head. So flip this up, out of the way. The head now will rotate in like so. Now this has, we're back up fully because the head's in the way. If we put the head up, it kind of gets in the way of the arm joint a bit. So we're just going to leave the head like that. Put it there, and then that will sit nicely like so. And then the extra radius booster parts stay where they are. Okay, so hand now goes in like so, and exact same deal as before. We put the wing part up here this will then slot nicely in and rotate down. I see once again I've given him a double jointed elbow. There we have it. Bruticus. Not quite finished. Now, depending on how you want to do with his guns. Now, apparently I've been told you can join them together. I'm not quite sure how I see how you can join them together. So he can hold them, or rather you can rest them in there, because then he's got no runs at the back. So I'm just going to put them into the back. So it's exactly the same spot as they were when they were on Blast Off. So you just put them in like so, there, and then the same deal on this one as well. That way it just has the guns sticking out at the back, which is a bit more like Bruticus of old. So we then got 3 little weapons which he can wield if you like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him the little gun on top there, and marry that with the larger gun underneath, like so. And then this hand you don't only have one, but it's the bigger weapon anyway. So you can attach all weapons to Bruticus, which is nice as well, because it means you now have absolutely 0 kibble at all left over. He seems to be leaning forward a little bit, which is slightly irritating. And then the gun's fallen out, yeah. Oh no, that's going to happen, don't we? Put that back in. There we are. Okay, so there we have it, Bruticus in Combiner mode. Pretty good. I like detailing on the head, is very good. I like all the detailing, to be honest. Now, the chest piece. Very different with the original, compared with the original Bruticus. If you look at the video I did previously on Onslaught, which has the silver chest piece, that's what you get with the Hasbro release of this toy. But if you get the Unite Warriors release, you get one that looks suspiciously like Blast Off's chest. If I just hold it like that, you get a little bit more light on it, so you can see. It's very, very nice detailing, particularly the Decepticon symbol, which is silver on a purple background. But strictly speaking, it's an animation error. There's a couple of episodes in the TV series which erroneously had Blast Off's wings become Bruticus's chest. These are Blast Off wings here. So unlike Predaking, where Predaking's wings were formed from Dive Bomb, and they were obviously formed from Dive Bomb in all the releases, and indeed the wings on Dive Bomb, the toy, detached and became kibble because the idea was they were meant to be the wings on the back of Predaking. In no toy version, and indeed in no correct animated version, did Blast Off wings form Bruticus's chest. But they do in some incorrect animations, and they do in the Unite Warriors release. So there we go. It's a nice colouring actually, I quite like it. I think I prefer it to the silver one, primarily because of the way it sets off the Decepticon logo. But it's just odd that an animation error has become the correct, if you like, colour scheme release for Bruticus. There we are. Just a bit bizarre, isn't it? As I say, it's a very nice toy. It's got some good solid mass to it. It's decent height as well. I quite like how it works. Let me just do a couple of compares. So, compared with the Unite Warriors release of Ultra Magnus, obviously Magnus is tall, but Bruticus is taller, and it works really well with that. However, he's perhaps at his best when you compare him with some of the Masterpiece figures. Wheeljack, for example, scales quite well with Bruticus, I think. With Wheeljack being kind of around half size, and so that works particularly nicely. I quite like how that works too. And if you want the War in Pocket releases, again the scale is quite good. With Mitron or Megatron, again that works quite well too. I suppose that's probably closer to the Legends, as in not the Takara release of Headmasters, All Times Return Legend, but the actual Legends classes, they compare very, very well with Bruticus as well. So if you want a bit of height to your combiners, the Legend series is for you, because they really go well with the combiners. But all told, I mean, even if you get the big guy, Ultra Magnus. Bruticus is bigger than him, so it it kind of works, although, yeah, Ultra Magnus is perhaps a little bit unscaled, but Wheeljack scales quite well with Bruticus too. It's a really good tool, a really good toy, a really nice piece. With your Night Warriors as well, you obviously get your standard instruction book with some nice art on it, same as the cover art. Lots of detailed instructions in it. And as you know from previous releases I've done for these with Superion and Menasor, you get a nice cartoon release on the back as well. What I like about this is it's basically, this is the episode from Bot. Indeed, there is Bot there, with the colours. Obviously they've been coloured more to these guys, particularly Onslaught, but it's more or less cartoon accurate colours, and yeah, you know, it's pretty nice, isn't it? Yeah, you got Swindle doing his thing, trying to reassemble Brawl. Indeed, Brawl is there and there as well as Bot. You've even got the little humans in there too, so you know, that's quite a nice little piece to have, and it's a bit of a shame that some of the other releases don't do that, particularly where they're releasing the original characters, but I digress. Definitely a good toy. You can obviously only get him in the Combiner version rather than buying the individual characters, but yeah, definitely one worth getting, and I particularly like the Night Warriors one because it looks very good on your shelf. Colours are correct. It just feels like a good toy. The one thing you don't get with your Night Warriors that you do get with Takara is a Legends release of Shockwave for him to hold, which is why Bruticus in this version doesn't really have a weapon. Sure, he's got those guns on the back, but he can't hold them. They'd slot into the soles where these little guns go as well, so you either have them at the back or he has no gun at the back, which looks wrong. So that's perhaps the only criticism between the two, is the Hasbro release does come with a gun in the form of Shockwave and the Night Warriors doesn't. On the other hand, there's plenty of third parties out there where you can pick up Shockwave. Hell, you can even buy a Legends Shockwave yourself and make your own gun, or you can get other packs from Bruticus if you wish. Some are a little bit pricey, I have to say, for what they are, but I guess it's what you want, isn't it? Very good toy, definitely worth picking up. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave any comments, click and subscribe, and why not watch some more videos. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.